Change is one of those things that we often don't like. We often have difficulty dealing with and processing. But when you look at change from a spiritual perspective, you realize that change is part of transformation. Change is necessary for life. In fact, when I talk about life, when I talk about manifestation, essentially what I'm talking about is movement, is action. And when things are not moving or things are not in action, essentially things are dead or stagnant. And a lot of times when we are not in movement, we feel our lowest. We're at our lowest frequency, right? We feel depressed. We feel sad. We feel like we're lost. But when you embrace change, you recognize that the change is the thing that is required for you to actually create the things that you desire, ultimately create the life that you want. But many times we find ourselves attached to particular things, right? We don't want those things to change because we feel like they're perfect the way they are. But we're coming at it from a very limited perspective and point of view. It's important on this spiritual journey to recognize that when you are on this journey, it is in fact a journey. And every step you take represents the change of you becoming who you're meant to be, becoming your true self. So when you understand that, you recognize that, okay, even though there are things that I do not want to change, that there is importance in the change, that it is imperative that in fact it does change at some point. We can hold on to it for as long as we want, but eventually things will change. Now, does that mean though it changed for the worse? It doesn't. It all depends on your perspective in the change. See, that's the beauty of it. When you're coming from the space of the ego, change is bad. All change is bad. But when you're in alignment with consciousness, then all change is an opportunity to generate opportunities, love, abundance, and success. So you have to be mindful about that and embrace the change. So today I decided to change things up a little bit. I've been thinking about this for some time now, doing something a little bit different, even though I love the way I do my videos, but I realize that sometimes it can be, it can stagnate process. It can stagnate growth if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I will continue to do my videos the way that I do them. But I decided, you know what, let me change it up a little bit. Let me, go outside. Let me enjoy the space. Let me allow people to see me in more of a natural environment. Okay. Now, that's the one reason why I decided to change things up. The second reason I decided to change things up is because I'm going to need a favor from you. Now, I'm an author. I like writing books. I like the idea of a book. I think books represent the possibility or the idea of essentially passing down your information and putting it in a format where it lives forever, right? We know social media, YouTube, things of that nature will probably last forever, but there's nothing like a book, right? There's nothing like having something physical in your hand that you can read through and process information. And so I decided to write a book, and I've written already several books, but there's one particular book, and I've been sharing with you and talking with you about it this whole week, is this book here, Creator, Manifestation, The Art of Life. This book is a very special book for me. This book, I put a lot of thought into it and a lot of my heart into it as far as teaching people how to coming into the realization that you are a creator and that your very nature is to materialize and manifest the things that you want. That is the purpose of life. And so I've been sharing that this book is available on Kindle for absolutely free, but it's only until today, right? Today is the last day where you can actually download this book for free. So what I want you to do is I want you to actually go on Kindle. The link is in the description below. Download the book, read the book, and then I want you to leave a review on Amazon in regards to how you felt about the book, what you've learned from the book. Okay. Now, currently, amazingly, my book is sitting at number 2 in the category of self-help and spirituality. And I wanted to get to number one. It's just so close. Now, whether it gets to number one or not, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I want people to access the book and learn from the book. But the idea that I'm that close is really tempting and really funny. So what I'm asking of you, though, is to download this book, share the link with everybody you know who is into manifestation, spirituality, all these things. Make sure that you download it today, because today is the last day to be able to download it for free. Now, you can, of course, download it afterwards for $9.99 on Kindle, or you can actually buy the hardcover book, which is available also on Amazon for $34.99. It's a great book. I'm proud of it, and I'm looking forward to making more books like it. So, continuing on the topic of change, what I really want you to understand when it comes to change is that when we think about change, we're only thinking about outside environment. We only think about other people, other things, right? We rarely ever think about how change affects us and how we have influence over the change that is happening outside of us. Recognize that this reality is indicative and is governed by you in your consciousness. You have to be mindful about that. So when you recognize that change is happening or change has happened, understand that it doesn't stop there. It continues on with your perspective, your belief, your ideas, your intentions, your desires as to what you want to create as a result of that change. The change is an opportunity for you. The change is an opportunity for you to take ownership of your ability to create anything, right? So recognize that when the change happens, we usually look at some outside source, like God, right? What I call grand consciousness. We look at it as something outside of ourselves that is separate from us, that we have no say or control over, because we think it is a different entity in itself. But in actuality, it is an extension of who you are. It is your higher self leading you along the path of self-realization. So when you recognize that and you see that the change is really your higher self communicating to you what needs to happen, all right, is sending you along the path of this self-realization. When you own that and you see the opportunity in the change, yes, you can go through a phase of mourning, grieving, right, because you were comfortable, but that is your ego speaking, right? Now you want to stay focused on the fact that the change has happened, right? The change is inevitable. Now, where do you want that change to go? What direction do you want that change to go in? That's up to you. So take ownership of your power to create your reality. Take ownership that change is in fact your higher consciousness leading you through the path, moving you along. Because if there was no change, there is no change, okay? If there is no change, there is no life. There is no manifestation. There is no materialization of what you desire. So continue to understand that this change is for you, okay? It is the universe supporting you. You just have to manage your ego in telling you that it's not. You have to manage your ego in telling you that the universe is against you. Totally the opposite thing, right? Totally untrue. But that's what the ego does when it is not managed. So put your ego in its place. Embrace the change, because the change is there for you to embrace your true self. Thank you so much. And again, go to Amazon right now, download the Kindle digital version of Creator Manifestation, The Art of Life. Absolutely free on Kindle today only. So download it now, all right? Download it, read it, share the link with everybody you know, and let's get this information out there. Peace and abundance always.